The following teacher development program is brought to you by the MultiChoice Africa Foundation.
Oh.
Lebo.
Hi, Lebo. It's me, Thandi.
Oh, I like heavy breathing, babe.
What are you doing?
Well, nothing. Just reading a magazine.
Listen, I need your help.
I don't believe it. You need my help for a change. Spit it out, girl.
Look, Nelson's coming home tomorrow, and I was thinking of doing a homecoming bash for him.
Well, all the way from America, eh? But I thought they don't allow exchange students to return during the year.
Well, no, they don't. It's just that he's got interviews to sort out for his bursaries.
So where do I come in?
I need help with the cooking. Nothing fancy. You know how useless I am in the kitchen. Help me, please.
Okay, sure. I like getting downright dirty in the kitchen. So let's do it here at my place. Around 10-ish.
Okay. No, that's fine.
Sure. So you like this one? Spaghetti alla mince.
Yes. You said it'd be easy to heat up tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it looks like we need spaghetti, mince, onions, and tomatoes. Let's make a list and zoom to the shops.
Cool.
Okay, we need?
Hang on, I need to write everything down. Okay.
500 grams of spaghetti.
500 grams spaghetti.
240 grams of mince. 300 grams of tomato. And 2 onions.
2 onions.
Yeah, that should be enough for you, Nelson, and the little one. This is for 4 people.
I actually invited a bunch of his friends and family, so we'll be 15 people.
Well, excuse me? Oh, well, it's fine. Yeah, this is big enough. But we're going to have to work out how to adapt this for 15 people.
Oh, thank you. At least I'll be useful in some way. Okay, let's see. This is about getting the ratio right. So we'll have to convert the recipe for 4 people to a recipe of 15 people. So the ratio for the recipe is 15:4. Now the ratio Lebogang is a relationship between the 2 recipes.
Yeah, maybe we should multiply everything by 4. That's 4 times 4. It is 16. 16, yeah. Oh, but it's fine. 15.
Precision, Lebogang. Our ratio is not 16:4, it's 15:4. Okay, let's just start over. Okay, I write my ratio as the number of people I want to serve versus the original number, so that would be like
it's
that.
fine, I get it. You've said it a million times. Yeah, 15:4. Actually, why don't you go on with your math and let me do what I'm good at, and that is cooking.
Because it's a good exercise in math literacy for you, Lebogang.
Here we go again.
Look, it's easy, man. I've written the ratio as a fraction. Okay, let me just put on my glasses so I can see what I'm doing. So that's 15 divided by 4 gives us 15 divided by 4. is 3.75. Now, I can calculate my new ingredients by multiplying the original recipe with my ratio.
How do you know what number to put on top when you write the ratio as a fraction?
Well, a ratio is a relationship between two quantities, one known, the other unknown. So 15 represents the new ingredients, which is unknown, and that goes on top. And the 4 represents the original recipe, which is a known, that goes at the bottom. Neat, eh?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, but let's get back to the recipe. I wanted to convert the means.
Let me work that out.
Right.
I'll show you. Okay. Now we have 500 grams spaghetti times the 3.75 is
1.875.
Okay, and then we have mince, which is 240 grams times 3.75 is equal to
900 grams.
Then tomato, 300 grams times 3.75 equals
1.125.
Okay, finally the onions. Huh? But here it only says 2 times the fraction 7.5. That sounds silly.
Well, just make it 8.
Glad I only have 15 people. Imagine what the caterers' trolleys look like.
When you're cooking, you need to know important skills such as measuring. We found out how to use a kitchen scale from Lulama Plachis, head chef at this branch of Pitzeng Caterers.
My recipe calls for a quarter kilo. That's about 250 grams. So I'll show you how we measure the onions. You must first check that your scale has a decimal, and then it's 0 at the moment. Then we put one onion on. It's about 85 grams. Another onion, it's 210 grams. It's still not 250. Then we add another onion. It's about 305 grams, so that's a bit too much. We'll reduce that and add a smaller onion to see. Now the onion is 250 grams, which is exactly a quarter kilogram.
Like any other business, a catering company needs to make profit. How do you decide how much to charge for the food you've made? Martha Nosi, the quality assurer, explains how to cost a recipe.
Okay, I'm doing a recipe costing for today. The recipe is beef goulash. So what you have to do is you write all the ingredients down. You write the quantity that you're going to use, the unit price, because prices change every day, and then you cost it out. I use 7.5 kilos of beef cubes. A kilo of the beef is 28 rand 81. So to get all the cost, you take your 7.5, you multiply by the unit price, 28.81. It gives you 216.07. You add the cost column, which will give you 233.03 cents. You divide that by 50 portions, it will give you 4.72 rand a portion. I recommend to sell this for 10 rand because you still have to pay people. On top of that, we still have to make profit.
Ah, 900.
More, still need more.
I can't see what I'm doing.
Put this on. And breathe with a snorkel. Right, let's do this. Pull it down. Right, that's it. Okay, snorkel. There we go.
we forgot to think about. Now that the ingredients have gone up, shouldn't the cooking time go up as well? Like 5 minutes?
5 times the ratio, 3.75 equal 18. So the pasta can actually cook for 18, 19 minutes?
Unless you want to eat soggy pap, yes. This is pasta. Pasta is pasta, and you always cook it for the amount of time stated on the packet. Kids know that, man.
Nomsa Mnisi is teaching a lesson on cooking. No, this is not home economics. It's math literacy. Nomsa produces a small banana cake and asks the learners to guess how many people it will serve.
6.
Then it's 6. No, I'm not so sure. It's going to be 6.
I think it will serve 4 people.
1 man, 1, because I'm very hungry.
No, man. This banana loaf can feed more than 1 person.
The cake only serves 4 people. Nomsa puts the recipe up on the board.
Okay, here we have our banana cake recipe. Ne? And if you look, this banana cake is going to serve 4 people. Then how can we increase the ingredients to make the bigger cake?
By adding more ingredients.
No, you're very vague, Takan. We need more mathematical answer.
We're gonna multiply everything by 5.
How did you get your answer?
I timed 4 people by 5 and it gave me 20 people.
Estimating is a great habit that you should encourage learners to develop. If they estimate a value first, it will guide them to make sure that their final answer is not totally off the mark.
Guessing or giving an estimate of an answer provides the kids with an idea of whether the answer they get is realistic or not. If they guess, if the answer is 69, say, and they get on a calculator 697, calculators are always true, you know. But if they've estimated 69, they'll know that they've made a mistake. That's the power of being able to estimate.
Next, Nomsa explains the concept of ratio. Ratio is very important when we have to expand or reduce quantities, but we have to keep the relationship between the ingredients the same.
The original number of people, which is 4. Then 10 divided by 2 is 5. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Here we have our ratio, which is 5:2. And now we are going to multiply our ingredients by 5 divided by 2. Here we must have 2 eggs. And now we must multiply these 2 eggs by 5/2 multiplied by 4. And now, what is our new number of eggs? 5 eggs.
Nomsa is focusing on the eggs because unlike cups of flour and sugar, eggs don't come in fractions. It's either a whole egg or not. This means learners have to round off the amount of eggs to the nearest integer.
Okay, then here we have 3 1/3. Ne? How many eggs must we use? Are we going to use 3 eggs or 4 eggs?
We're gonna need 4 eggs. Because if we get 3 eggs, it's gonna be less. We're gonna have less banana cake.
Nomsa explains this by using a numbers line.
Let's say here we have 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then 3 1/3, it will be somewhere here. 3 1/3, is it closer to 3 or closer to 4? Which means that here we are going to use 3 eggs. And now we've got to calculate the number of eggs. Remember here we must use the ratio. Okay, the formula we use to calculate the ratio is the ratio of the new number of people is to the original number of people. Ne? We were having 4 people, and now we are talking of 20 people or 30 people, which means that the new number of people now is 20 or 30.
They've got the example on the board for adapting the recipe for 10 people. But what will the ratio be if you have to serve 20 or even 30 people? The learners have to work in groups to work this out. They must write their ratio as a fraction. In groups, the learners calculate the ratio to convert the recipe to serve 30 people. In this group, a learner acts out the role of the teacher and explains to the others.
Now I want you to calculate the whole recipe for 20 people.
This learner is totally confused by the topic. The teacher tries to explain, but in the end, both of them are becoming more and more anxious and frustrated. In such cases, it's sometimes better to ask another learner to explain.
Sometimes I think maths teachers find it difficult to get down to the level of a kid at school who doesn't understand something. So they might go off on a sort of mathematical story when the kid at school just wants a quite simple explanation. And often a friend can give that simple explanation in simpler words than perhaps the teacher can.
As you know that
NOMSA shows the learners a South African Indian recipe book. The book contains wedding recipes for up to 800 people. However, even when you're not cooking Indian food, we need math literacy when planning to cater for a wedding. Next, the learners work in their groups to create recipe cards for a somewhat smaller wedding.
use the correct measurements because we don't want any flop.
They need to serve 80 guests. Each group works on one recipe that serves either 4, 6 or 8 people. They start off by working out the ratio.
The formula to calculate the ratio is the new number of people is to the original number of people. What is the new number of people now?
Next, they have to write the ratio as a fraction. They calculate the value of the ratio fraction on their calculators, and now they're ready to multiply their ingredients with their ratio. But there's one problem. Learners have studied fractions in the lower grades, but they don't know what to punch into their calculators when the recipe says 1 3/4 cups of flour. NOMSA notices this and does a quick revision.
In class here we have 2 and 3/4. Ne? And if you want to punch this on your calculator, ne? You're going to press 2, comma, then you go to your table. What is 3/4 from your table? Here we have 3/4, which is equal to 0.75. And here we have a 2. Ne? Then it's going to be 2.75.
Now the learners get going to convert their recipe to serve 80 people. Once they've calculated the new amounts of each ingredient, they write it on a recipe card. Each group shares their recipe with the others so that in the end, they have the entire menu for the wedding day.
I think now you are all ready for your wedding.
There you go, madam. Bon appetit. And remember, spaghetti should always be served freshly cooked. It's garnish. Sprinkle it on top of the food before you serve.
You saved the day, Lebogang. I owe you one.
Say hi to Nelson and the gang.
Why don't you do that yourself? Come join us.
Exactly what I was hoping you'd say. Math literacy in the kitchen makes me hungry.
This way you can get to do the spaghetti. Come.